Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I guess it's probably a little late to welcome you all to Chicago. But for those of you who aren't from the Midwest, it's not too late to welcome you to Chicago weather, where you can arrive and it's 60 degrees and sunny, and snowy 2 days later. My name's Andrew Flick, and I lead the GTM strategy for all things developer. Joining me on stage today will also be Justine Modat, who leads our business architect lead for ADP, our Accelerate Developer Productivity Solution Play, and Wenxi Oh, who is our GPS lead. In this presentation, we're going to explore the fundamentals of how AI is changing software development and rewiring the neurons of how software development teams will function and the types of applications they'll build. We'll also discuss the business opportunity that this presents to you, our partners, the priorities for the year, and finally close by talking about how Microsoft will help you. By now, you've heard that we stand at the forefront of a technological revolution that is reshaping industries, impacting every organization, and fundamentally changing business processes and transforming the ways we live and work. Once a future concept, it is now an integral part of our daily lives, from voice assistants and recommendation engines to autonomous vehicles and predictive analytics. Every app will be reinvented with AI, transforming the way we interact with technology and unlocking new levels of efficiency and personalization. This revolution will not only enhance existing applications, but also pave the way for new apps that were previously unimaginable. By leveraging the power of AI, developers can create innovative solutions that address complex challenges and provide unprecedented value to their customers. And over the past few decades, technological shifts in the arena of software development have created vast new opportunities for partners. Whether it was the birth of the internet a few decades back, or the Agile Manifesto and training out Scrum Masters, the expanse of mobile app development, advancements in continuous integration, continuous delivery, the rise of the cloud, or bringing security into DevOps. Each shift has not only required new technologies, but new processes, training for people, and an evolution of the role of how software development teams function. This change, I think, is a little bit different than the ones of the past. And it's not since the internet revolution has a change had an impact on every developer on how and what they build. And the world needs partners to realize the nearly 1 billion new apps that will be built in the next 4 years. And the world needs partners to help developers know how to effectively craft prompts and be able to take advantage for the 92% of developers that are using AI coding tools today. The world will need partners to help with the 89% of organizations that are accelerating their app modernization in order to take advantage of the next generation of application development. Now, from partners, it also all starts with the developer. Now, GitHub has an aspiration to reach 1 billion developers. At this moment, they're at 100 million and accelerating fast. The Visual Studio family has over 40 million developers. Now, currently, when we look at AI coding assistants and paid usage, we've got 1.8 million developers using Copilot today across 77,000 organizations. But that creates an addressable market for you as partners to help get Copilot in the hands of every developer living in every editor on top of every repo. We need your help to help accelerate this opportunity. And we need your help to craft and mint the next generation of developers. Developers are the architects of a new era, crafting the applications and systems that harness the power of AI to solve new and real-world problems. Developers will need to adopt AI assistants quicker than any other profession. And that's because as a developer, developers are expected to speak multiple programming languages, understand how to deploy to the cloud, and be responsible as the first line of defense against bad actors attacking the work that they do. But it doesn't stop there. In the new era, they'll not only have to learn how to optimize and control costs of cloud compute, they'll need to understand a catalog of emerging AI models, the thousands that exist today, and choose one of those based on cost, performance, context, and size. They'll need to invest in new processes and develop for new ways of developing and testing applications where traditional practices quite fundamentally don't apply. In the new world with AI, a bad answer from AI could be making a suggestion to a competitor's product. A worse answer could actually present moral and ethical harm to the organization that they're developing apps for. And we need partners to help developers not only build using AI, but establish the practices to safely and securely bring AI into the applications. Let's dive into some of the product innovations that will help you as partners reboot the developer experience for the organizations that you work with.
When I think about our engineers, the thing I want them to be spending time on is how to make our users' lives easier. That's where Copilot really shines.
I love GitHub Code. Once it's in your IDE, it just feels natural, and then trying to code without it feels really strange.
AI can get really overwhelming. What I loved about Copilot is it feels transparent.
Gen AI means that we can go from spending hours maybe searching on Stack Overflow, searching on Google for how to do something, and we can ask our Copilot, how do I do it instead? But then that's not where the story ends. Once you've written your code, you need to be able to test it. You need other people to be able to understand what your code is doing. Rather than thinking, how am I going to test this code? I can ask Copilot.
Isn't that the dream, to have a Copilot assistant that just helps you, gives you knowledge about the code base, makes it easy to explain what's going on in a specific file, like, no-brainer.
It all starts with GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot is the world's most adopted AI coding tool. Now, research performed by GitHub suggests that developers using Copilot felt 85% more confident in the code that they've written. And research that has just been released this week shows that developers using Copilot wrote code that had increased functionality, improved readability, better code quality, and higher approval ratings. As a matter of fact, when they looked at developers who were using Copilot, they had a 56% greater chance in passing their unit tests than developers without it. Now, GitHub Copilot had started with the notion of code completion, and then it evolved to this notion of conversational coding with AI. We're now on the cusp of a new era of collaboration between AI and developers, where AI is woven into the very fabric of the entire developer experience. And in many cases, that developer experience starts with a code editor, and the more a developer can remain in context, the better their flow state. In the latest version of VS Code, Copilot can now edit across multiple files, enabling developers to quickly refactor large code bases. When a developer commits code, it's now possible to request Copilot to do a code review. And as I mentioned, that the research shows that when Copilot's involved, it increases the likelihood that a human in the loop will accept the changes. Developers will be able to select different chat models, different language models, and the multi-model support, because different models excel at different programming tasks. And lastly, developers will get a whole new host of slash commands that help them perform tasks like /tests or /docs, and Copilot will generate tests and docs for the selected methods and functions within inside the editor. And when it starts in VS Code, it continues to Azure. GitHub Copilot for Azure builds on top of a rich ecosystem of Copilot extensions. There's already plenty of partners that are investing there, and this is bringing a first-class and best experience with Azure. And it makes it easy for you to do things like learn Azure, provision resources, deploy your code, diagnose and resolve issues quickly, and get information about your subscription costs. But it doesn't stop there. When it's time to actually take these best practices and learn how to bring your code to Azure, we've brought together a curated list of AI app templates crafted by our engineering teams and with best practices built in. We've developed a ton of samples across multiple languages, from Python, JavaScript, Java, .NET, and with examples integrating common AI building blocks like semantic kernel, LangChain, and Pinecone. All a developer has to do to start working with this is get GitHub Copilot for Azure and use the @Azure command to get guidance every step of the way. And with the power of GitHub Codespaces, developers don't even have to get this set up on their local machines. They can get everything running up in the cloud without anything local. Now, with Copilot, it brings AI to every part of the development lifecycle. But pairing it with GitHub Enterprise, the world's leading AI developer platform, unlocks its true potential. And some of the announcements that we have now is the best way to get advantage of GitHub Enterprise is through GitHub Enterprise Cloud. Now, the next evolution of GitHub Enterprise Cloud now brings data residency within the European Union. Now, that's in addition to the one already in the US. It's designed to meet the security and compliance requirements of GitHub Enterprise customers, and this means it scales with all GitHub features. This is including GitHub Copilot, and it's supported and it will store your data in the region you choose. Now, GitHub Enterprise Cloud with data residency is built on top of Azure, which means you get the security, business continuity, and disaster recovery capabilities of the cloud. But it doesn't stop there. As of August 1st, we brought all GitHub services available as an Azure meter. This integration creates a unified procurement and billing experience for organizations that are using both GitHub and Azure products. It offers flexibility by allowing the adjustments to the number of licensed seats based on evolving needs with a pay-as-you-go model. And it enables GitHub to decrement a customer's Mac. Additionally, it enables access to GitHub services directly through the Azure portal alongside with the other Azure services, simplifying management. And when I think about the other Azure services, one that is commonly being used with GitHub today is Azure DevOps. And we've been doing a lot of work of bringing these two solutions together. And many of our customers are looking at and facilitating and working for ways of progressively integrating GitHub and Azure DevOps. Now, significant improvements and advancement have been made recently that further integrate GitHub and Azure boards. We announced those yesterday, and it's enabling a more seamless and connected usage. And we're planning on bringing more integrations in the near future. Now, the Azure Boards app provides the same end-to-end traceability for GitHub customers that they would expect if you're using core Azure DevOps together, from ideas to boards to production environments deployed with Azure pipelines. Now, a substantial number of our customers are already taking the advantage of integrating Azure DevOps and GitHub. In October alone, customers linked over 800,000 links between Azure Board and GitHub repos. But it doesn't just stop with product integration. We've even gone for more licensing integration. And this is where, for the first time, Visual Studio subscribers have usage rights for both GitHub Enterprise and Azure DevOps. And you can pay for them together. We're excited to announce that Azure DevOps basic usage rights with the Azure meter are available as part of GitHub Enterprise. And so, just like in Visual Studio subscriptions today, we'll automatically detect GitHub Enterprise licenses for users when they log into Azure DevOps and grant them GitHub Enterprise access level with the equivalent to Azure DevOps Basic. This capability will begin lighting up for GitHub Enterprise customers starting in December. Lastly, I mentioned before that developers are the front line of defense when it comes to securing their applications. GitHub Advanced Security is there to help provide security capabilities that was designed not just for security professionals in mind, but designed for developers. At GitHub Universe, we announced GitHub Advanced Security Autofix, powered by GitHub Copilot. This leverages the power of AI to find security vulnerabilities, explain why they're vulnerabilities, and then suggest fix in context of GitHub, right in the developer's code with the context of their entire code base. It's also allowing partners to build integrations which will greatly increase its efficacy. We've also introduced GitHub security campaigns, where security managers can identify specific historical threats to be addressed within defined timeframes and ultimately reduce the exposure to potential threats. GitHub Advanced Security today will help both GitHub and Azure DevOps developers reduce their security debt. To take advantage of this, the latest features, your code will need to be in a GitHub repo, but we continue to bring these capabilities to Azure DevOps over time. Now, to close on my section, as you can see, we're reimagining an AI-native developer experience, not only from code to cloud, but natively and securely in the cloud. Let me pass this over to Justine to talk about our business priorities. Justine?
Thank you, Andrew. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to come here and share with you some of the learning we got from our Microsoft Direct Salesforce. Some of the elements that we want to share, and I'll start by saying, We are bringing this innovation to market to our customer, and we're prioritizing 3 entry points that we believe will help our customer thrive in the age of AI. Driving AI use cases, modernizing apps, and obviously winning the developers. AI comes to life in apps, data come to life in apps, and apps do not exist without developers. AI use case right now is where we see most of our customer energy, and we start here, looking to drive high-velocity engagement with repeatable pattern. Our second key priority is driving app modernization, and we are seeing growing evidence on how AI-assisted coding will help disrupt the economics of modernization and accelerate customer adoption, as they will increasingly need cloud-native capabilities to innovate with AI. Finally, developers are at the core of app creation, and Microsoft has the tools to offer the best developer experience to build AI applications and be more productive, focusing on the task that matters to them. Now, let's shift to some of the customer insights and trends that will get our next step. Our specialized sales team, closely listening to customer day in, day out, has identified 2 critical insights. AI coding needs a lot of change management to build sustainable usage in our customer. But it also opens the door to rethink the definition of a developer, especially if you think about the next-gen developer that Andrew was mentioning earlier. While GitHub Copilot has seen viral adoption with independent developers over the last 12 months, enterprise adoption still presents challenges. Not every developer is an early adopter, and change management is crucial to ensure all of the developers can leverage AI in their workflows. A critical step to help our customer understand the business value they are getting with GitHub Copilot, particularly in the context of their Azure investments. We're working closely with customers to ensure that every developer, whether they're a data engineer, an infrastructure engineer, or a full-stack developer, is fully utilizing GitHub capabilities. These are distinct personas with unique needs, and we've learned that high-touch experience are necessaries for large organizations with thousands of developers to really get them to understand the value they get from GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot is more than a coding tool. We really see it as a strategic solution for our partner to capture mindshare with developer and with team that will shape the future of AI. Winning the AI developer is now key to unlocking future opportunities. And as AI evolves, the developer we empower today will lead tomorrow's AI breakthrough. GitHub is transforming and reshaping the experience. And customers have shared the true power of GitHub Copilot doesn't lie in the tool itself, but really how it transforms their work, creating an environment that has productivity, innovation, and seamless collaboration. As you build your practices around GitHub Copilot, keep in mind that addressing early the business value in the sales cycle is super important. We spoke earlier about the need to drive sustainable usage, and that developers in the age of AI have different needs and value for GitHub Copilot. And this is really 3 ways that I think there is one takeaway I want you to have, that we see GitHub enabling developer. It's more than just being able to have more lines of code. We're seeing most of the value with developing new skill. You're bringing in a new junior developer, you needed to ramp up. The ramp up happens much faster with a solution like GitHub Copilot. We've heard pushback early on for more senior developers who are like, well, I know how to do that. Well, they're finding a lot of value for some of the repetitive tasks around documentation that they needed to do, and that now they're able to spend less time on and then spend more time on the thing that they want to do. And it also allows to improve quality and innovation through broadening the definition of a developer. We see data scientists being able to play with GitHub Copilot and push some of their creativity and innovation a little bit further. By helping customers understand how GitHub Copilot contributes to both their immediate and long-term goals, you can ensure they realize its full potential. It's an opportunity for you to build IP and develop tailored offering for your customer. Identifying specific KPIs with them that are important beyond the line of code that can help them measure success and ensure long-term value from their investment. To build that sustainable usage, accelerating time to value is a top priority. So we want to make sure that it's not only about GitHub Copilot, but how you're going to use GitHub Copilot. With the right business goals and metric, you can drive your customer to integrate GitHub Copilot across their entire development lifecycle, and you can help them realize ongoing improvement in productivity, efficiency, and innovation. Whether through international champs such as senior developer, technical leader, or executive, or through organizing hackathons, you will be able to identify and unlock next use case, next department. Customer needs continuous engagement and a playbook to understand the business value of their investment. Think how you can integrate and create this tailored solution, template, and best practices that address specific customer need, and how we can build repeatable offering. You could go to a department, help them build a new app, modernize, make sure you focus on that department in terms of skills enablement and building value, and then being able to move on to the next. Developers need to love the product too, obviously, but some of the excitement that you can get around hackathons giving you swag also help too. By focusing on accelerating time to value and ensuring long-term benefits, nurturing internal champions, you'll help customers unlock sustainable value and position yourself as a trusted partner for their success. Having the right partner brings it all together. And Microsoft's success is deeply tied to our work together, and our customers rely on you to achieve their goals. The right partner at the right time can drive transformation and create lasting impact. We're committed to improving how we work together, and we're excited about the future. Next, we'll highlight an example of how these pieces come together. And even though this is one story, we know there are many more like it. So I'd like to spend a minute talking about GoTo. This compelling story highlights the power of collaboration and demonstrates the significant impact we can create for our customer when we work together. GoTo is an Asian digital native customer and was actively seeking ways to transform and empower its development through the use of AI and developer-assisted tool. In partnership with Microsoft, Insights conducted an enablement session that focused on leveraging the power of GitHub Copilot to improve their deliverables, reduce errors, and enhance overall team satisfaction. As a result of this partnership, GoTo now has over 1,000 developers completing tasks 30% faster. This positive sentiment was echoed by the COO in response to the Enable effort led by Insights. This not only demonstrates GoTo's commitment to investing in its development team, but also highlights how partnership with Microsoft can lead to transformational changes and unlock previously unrealized business opportunities. In addition, Insights is a prime example of a customer who has successfully adopted GitHub Copilot internally. And this point is super important. We are seeing that partners are actually probably one of the best customers for GitHub as you start. This represents a unique opportunity for you to consider how internal adoption can not only shape your story, but also help transform other areas in your business. For example, so we are seeing partners successfully adopt GitHub Copilot internally, realizing this value and integrating into other solution offering, like AppMod. At the same time, a new trend is emerging. Customers' expectations around modernization of applications are rapidly evolving. Businesses are under pressure to modernize quickly and efficiently, expecting partners and ISV to deliver innovative solutions. This growing demand for modernization creates new opportunities to help customers transform their legacy systems. Though we know it's not without its challenges. These systems are complex, and skilled developers who understand them are short in supply. This is where solutions like GitHub Copilot can play a pivotal role in accelerating development and reducing the burden on developers. You have the opportunity to leverage GitHub Copilot internally to enhance your app modernization offering. You can now streamline your internal processes, but also position yourself as expert who can help customers adopt new technology more efficiently. Next, we'll have Wenxi walk us through the program and the incentive that will help you succeed.
Thank you, Justine. Well, now you have heard about the innovation from Andrew and Justine on the customer insight. So I'm here to help you to visualize how Microsoft partner ecosystem, how Microsoft partner organization will help you to support your development in GitHub practice and help you successful. So super excited to share about the investment and throughout the MSAM journey provided by Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program, comprehensive support to help you succeed. I'm sure you have seen this slide multiple times throughout this week. This comes from a recent ICD study. So for every $1 Microsoft revenue, services partner could earn up to $9 to provide their services as well as implementation. And for software-led partners, which is like ISV type of partners, their profitability will go up to almost $11 by building IP solution on top of Microsoft AI platform. So this is like tremendous and super exciting. Partners are ready to engage. Partners who are ready to engage with Microsoft AI stand out with higher revenue growth and profitability. 81% of partners in the survey, they see that and believe that Microsoft AI will enable them to grow the revenue and accelerate the margin. This is another status from the same survey, from the same study. Microsoft partners are super optimistic about AI, of course. And majority of the partners in the survey state that it will increase their Microsoft-related revenue and profit, especially for the partners generating 25% or more of their Microsoft-related revenue from AI. They see a much higher revenue growth and margin as well compared to other partners. Now we all know that AI is we are in the AI journey. We want to help partners to accelerate the AI transformation to the customer. And GitHub is the tool for developer when they build the AI app. How are we going to support you? Microsoft provides a comprehensive partner program, including technical resource, marketing support, sales investment, to ensure the partner success. So let's explore the partner and customer journey. At the start of the customer engagement, we provide campaign in a box to help you generate leads for the customer, engage with the customer to drive top of the funnel. When customer shows interest, eligible partners are able to use the funding to drive pilot or POC to prove that GitHub is able to increase developer productivity and satisfaction. When the customer decides to purchase, we ensure that all the GitHub products are on EA as well as CSP. This includes GitHub Enterprise, GitHub Advanced Security, GitHub Copilot for Business, GitHub Copilot for Enterprise, and more. So we just launched GitHub products on CSP and Azure Meter on August 1st. This provides tremendous opportunity for both customer as well as for the partners. What is the benefit for the customer? It provides flexible billing. It lowers the total cost of ownership, as well as like now customer could use one Azure subscription ID for their billing. It creates a tremendous flexibility for the customer. And for the partners, it unlocks additional customer segment and market for them to engage. I personally know a lot of like partners are prepping up and driving, targeting their CSP customer after the launch. All right, so after the purchase, eligible partners could also use Azure funding to drive the deployment. And not to mention, all the GitHub product, they are eligible for the CSP accelerator workload, 3% accelerator workload to drive additional profitability. So this provides a demonstrate our commitment to the partner success. We know that GTM is very important, but as Justine mentioned a lot, we see partners' tremendous success if they use the product to become customer zero. So Julie Sanford announced in August that GitHub product will be included in the partner benefits starting January 2025. So for both ISV partners as well as services partners. For ISV partners, you could get 20 users GitHub Enterprise subscription for the ISV Success Core package and ISV Expanded package. For services partner, all Azure specialized partner, they could have Azure credit to pay for the GitHub Copilot for Enterprise, as well as GitHub Enterprise. This is like super important. We provide this free subscription as a part of partner benefit. So you could test out the product, use the product, be the customer zero, and build the practice. We see a lot more successful, faster to market when the partner leverage the product internally, adopt it, and then package up and drive the customer engagement. So let's move on to the next double click on all the GTM support. The first one we want to highlight is partner skilling, technical intensity. This year, we committed to bring all the GitHub-related training across certification, technical, sales enablement to Microsoft Partner Skilling Platform. This includes GitHub certification, project-ready capabilities, sales and technical pre-sales skilling. Tens of thousands of learners right now are using Microsoft Skilling for their internal tech intensity. So certification and applied skills. Partners are getting the right certification to meet the customer need with the technical proficiency to build the practice and solution. Project Ready Workshop, this is the new skilling we introduced this year, is to help you build deployment and implementation capability to accelerate the time to value, while the sales bootcamp obviously builds up confidence for your sales organization to pitch GitHub more effectively. And the technical pre-sale skilling focuses on skilling the technical sellers, some in-depth product demo to deliver some effective engagement with the customers. So skilling is priority number one for us to support the partner success. The second one, differentiate yourself by getting partner solution designation and specialization. Customers constantly are looking for experts when they ask for developer engagement. So by obtaining this credential, including designation and specialization, you could demonstrate your technical experts and experience to the customer. So solution designation is basically a broader engagement, demonstrate like you have engagement for app modernization and developer engagement. While specialization is very specialized in technical capability to show that you are the expert. And the benefit of getting designation and specialization is differentiate yourself and also additional benefits supported by Microsoft. For designation, you are able to unlock some GTM, marketing, and sales benefit. And for specialization, additional funding from Microsoft to support you to support your customer engagement. Well, the third one is campaign in a box. So we all know that in driving customer engagement, marketing campaign is very important. So we provide campaign in a box to support your demand generation. This includes the assets to build the awareness, acquiring and nurturing leads, and also any to customer pitch deck, data sheet, so that you could engage with the customer. All these assets are ready to use with Microsoft branding, with Microsoft like messaging, aligned with our value proposition. And most importantly, these assets are localized in 11 languages, so you could drive even more precise engagement with your customer. Well, the last one that is the Azure partner-led investment to accelerate both pre-sales and deployment. So Azure Innovate helps you to implement effectively with comprehensive resource in one place. It really increases the agility with different scenarios when engaging with customer needs. So for example, Azure Migrate and Modernize focus on infra migration, while Azure Innovate is more AI, analytics, and developer workload. You could always find the needs and scenario that the customer is asking for from Azure Innovate and AMM. The first one, which was new, is Azure Essential. Customers are asking more focused support. So we provide partner training, focus on customer outcomes. This will help you elevate security, reliability, and ongoing performance for all the customer cloud and AI workload. So this is one-stop shop when you engage with customer in their cloud journey. Now, I want to bring it real, make it real. We provide this comprehensive go-to-market resource for the partners. How are our partners leveraging the resource? The first example I want to bring it is SoftwareOne, is our global scale partner. So SoftwareOne being very critically, initially being our customer zero, so they adopted GitHub Copilot internally, saw the value, develop a package offering to engage with customer. And while they are engaging with the customer, they help the customer deploy AI workload more effectively, use the saving to drive additional AI workload. And this is a very successful engagement model, and they were able to reach multiple customers on building and deploying GitHub Copilot, as well as deployment from other developer to GitHub Enterprise Cloud. Solidify is a regional partner in Europe, so they really focus on technical skilling. Every new consultant joining Solidify, they will send the consultant to use Microsoft provided skilling on certification, pre-sales, or technical skilling. They make sure every consultant go through the tech intensity, so they build the confidence and creditability when they deploy to customer. And moving along, they recently leveraged Campaign in a Box to drive demand generation, Azure Innovate for the pre-sales and post-sales to accelerate their deployment. Right now, Solidify is one of the Microsoft go-to partners because of their consistent deployment and engagement with the developer community. These two partner examples really highlight how they leverage Microsoft GTM programs and our resource to be very successful. Well, with the success story, I hope you understand and inspire to leverage the resource provided by Microsoft Cloud Partner Program to invest in GitHub and to capture the AI opportunities. As I mentioned, we provide skilling. We give you guidance how to get the destination and specialization, Campaign in a Box, and more marketing resource, as well as partner-led offering. All these AKA links will guide you directly to the GitHub resource needed. If you are interested in any other GitHub-related sessions, such as GitHub Copilot, GitHub Enterprise, and GitHub Advanced Security, you could refer to this session, or maybe it's on demand available afterward. With that, thank you so much. Thank you.